touchdown. After the game, Cleveland head coach Kevin Stefanski declined to say if Sanders will remain his number one quarterback. The Lakers are 12-4 after holding on for a 108-106 win Sunday at Utah. 33 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists for Luka Doncic. LeBron had 17 points and 8 assists in 34 minutes. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Celebrate the soul of the holidays and support Altadena and Pasadena. Join us on Monday, December 15th, 7 p.m. inside the Bram Goldsmith Theater at the Wallace in Beverly Hills for Soul of the Holidays, a joyful night of Motor City soul, gospel, and holiday classics featuring an 18-piece band, all-star vocalist, and community choirs, all in support of the Black LA Relief and Recovery Fund. This performance comes at a pivotal time for many in Altadena and Pasadena. This is their first holiday season since the devastating Altadena Eden Canyon fire, which destroyed homes and community spaces. While the physical losses are immense, the power of community remains, and your attendance directly supports recovery, resilience, and renewal. So, be sure to join us Monday, December 15th, 7 p.m. inside the Bram Goldsmith Theater at the Wallace in Beverly Hills for Soul of the Holidays, benefiting survivors of the Altadena Eden Canyon fire. For ticket information, just log on to tickets@thewallace.org. That's tickets@thewallace.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580 and the Black Freedom Fund.
I'm gonna try to keep it coming. Things ain't always smooth, but I'll be alright as long as I can find the good. Yes, I will. Yeah. Somehow I know that I can make it. You seem to like my style. Now, don't you worry, I'm gonna be around a while. Yes, I will. I'm just happy to see you talk to me back in style again.
Live from historic Leimert Park in Los Angeles, California, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I'm so glad to see you and me back in stride again. Before we get started with today's show, let me invite you to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Real Tavis Smiley, and get updates on X, that's formerly Twitter, at Tavis Smiley. By the way, should you miss any part of today's program or want to catch up on previous shows, you can always visit thetavismiley.show.com. That's thetavismiley.show.com, or wherever you get your podcast, and listen to the Tavis Smiley podcast version of this live program at your leisure. Another great show on tap for you today. In our second hour, it's Monday, so Dr. Cornell West is here. We'll get inside his brilliant mind. And today, his walk-on song really is a walk-on song, because he's actually in L.A. this week and will join us live in studio at the top of hour 2. Among other things, I expect we will talk about the death of Jamil Abdullah Al-Amin, the Black Power activist known as H. Rap Brown.
If it's beneficial to be nonviolent in certain situations, then it has been policy to be nonviolent. But in terms of self-defense, we've always had a strong position that individuals are given a God-given right to defend themselves. And what's more, they're protected within the framework of the law to protect themselves. When white people participate in the movement, they should participate on a level that they civilize the other element of that white community. Now, because it's not a thing of where they're helping black people, they're helping themselves. Because freedom cannot be given. It's not a welfare commodity. Freedom is something that has to be gotten and taken by the people who are oppressed.
Dr. Cornell West live in studio today in hour 2 to talk about H. Rap Brown, his passing. and some of the other topics to get to. He's in studio today, so we'll keep him for the entire hour. So lots to get into with Dr. West in hour two. In our third hour, a conversation with the delicious Miss Cardia Brown, the two-time Emmy Award-winning chef and New York Times best-selling author, just in time for the holidays. Her new book is called Make Do With What You Have and features more than 100 recipe updates of her favorite childhood meals. Chef Cardia Brown joins us today in hour three. But in this first hour, let's talk politics and more with professor, philosopher, and legal analyst Tim Golden. Tim Golden, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing just fine, Tavis. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be with you.
It's an honor to have you back. So much to get to in this first hour. I got a little time for this. Miles, I want to start with that Marjorie Taylor Greene clip. That was the news of Friday and the weekend. It just shocked everybody. Nobody. The death threats that she's received from going head to head with Donald Trump has unnerved her. Say nothing of her issues with her party. As you recall, she came out, I guess, a couple weeks ago on CNN with Dana Bash, and made it pretty clear to me, at least. We discussed it on this program the next day that she was backing away from some of these toxic statements that she has made heretofore. So that was a sign to me that something was changing in her when she came as strong as she did on again CNN with Dana Bash. But I didn't see this coming. Nobody did. Anyway, here's Marjorie Taylor Greene in her own words.
There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. When common American people realize and understand that the political industrial complex of both parties is ripping this country apart, that not one elected leader like me is able to stop Washington's machine from gradually destroying our country, and instead the reality is that they, common Americans, the people, possess the real power over Washington, then I'll be here by their side to rebuild it. Until then, I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead. I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026, and I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future. May God bless you all, and may God bless America.
Can't wait to hear what Tim Golden has to say about that. When I heard that clip, I was trying to think of a comparative example. I'm always trying to think of what frame I want to be in. And the only person I could think of was Liz Cheney. Now, the circumstances are vastly different, but maybe vast is too strong a word, Tim, but the circumstances are, somewhat similar, but I think yet different for what pushed Liz Cheney out. And Liz Cheney did not resign. She lost. So those facts are different, obviously. But I thought about Liz Cheney as the only comparable example to what we saw with Marjorie Taylor Greene over the weekend. Trump has come out to say today that he would love to see her return to politics at some point. But apparently he ain't shedding no tears about Marjorie Taylor Greene, who his nickname is Marjorie Trader Greene. That's his nickname for her, Marjorie Trader Greene. But Donald Trump has successfully pushed her out and didn't have to primary her. He just pushed her out. Just getting started with Tim Golden. Glad I've got him for the entire hour. A great deal more to get to. Donald Trump boycotted the G20 summit in South Africa, saying that he is protesting the genocide. It's hard to laugh and say genocide at the same time, but this really is funny. Protesting the genocide of the white minority in South Africa, so he didn't show up. Oh, Lord. Lots to talk about with Tim Golden when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
From Lamert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
This holiday season, KBLA Talk 1580 wishes you and yours joy, peace, and prosperity. As we celebrate with family and friends, we're already looking forward to an exciting first quarter, packed with must-attend events to kick off the new year just right. In January, join us for our inaugural Brotherhood Brunch bringing together community leaders, change makers, and inspiration and connection. February means it's time for our signature Black History Month luncheon, a powerful celebration you won't want to miss. And in March, Women's History Month, we're once again hosting our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium and Luncheon, addressing the issues that matter most inside our community. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, happy holidays. Stay tuned for more details on these incredible upcoming events. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice, your community, your power.
Head to the Skirball Cultural Center for a thought-provoking contemporary art exhibition, Draw Them In, Paint Them Out. Trenton Doyle Hancock confronts Philip Guston. Explore resonant connections between the American Jewish painter Philip Guston and the work of Trenton Doyle Hancock, a leading Black American contemporary artist, in dialogue for the first time. While engaging with the artwork, consider the role that artists play in the pursuit of social justice. Plan your visit at skirball.org.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. All investments involve risk, including loss of principal. Options, futures, and crypto trading carry significant risk and may not suit all investors. Securities offered through Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Futures trading is offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto LLC, NMLS ID 1702840, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Portfolio management offered by Robinhood Strategies, an SEC registered advisor.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Tim Golden, professor, philosopher, and legal analyst. Tim, thanks for your patience. Had to set that thing up to get it started, and now I'm gonna let you run wild for the rest of the hour. Let's start with the Marjorie Taylor Greene comment. What did you make of what she had to say in her announcement that she's leaving Congress on the 5th? And I mean, not even staying through the end of the term. She getting out early. She leaving January the 5th. You combine those comments with what I referenced earlier, her talking to Dana Bash a week or two ago about the toxicity and apologizing for her role in that. What's happening to Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Well, Tavis, I have to say, initially, my sense of morality struggled with my cynicism, my humanity, and my initial response is, you haven't come out and denounced Nick Fuentes. You haven't done this. You haven't done that. But then the more I thought about he's actually doing is, I think she found a moral center in the Epstein files. She found her voice with the Epstein files in siding with the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and her refusal to move from that issue and the political courage that it took to sort of stand up to the president was, I think, a turning point for her. And then I think perhaps she began to realize that for all of her ideological commitments, they would not do her well in being moral and taking a stand with the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. So, again, my initial reaction was to be cynical. And perhaps there is still a tinge of cynicism there telling me that she wouldn't be resigning in the short term if she didn't think there was something beneficial for her in the long term politically. Maybe that is the case, but I couldn't help but think what would happen if every Republican in Congress, which many of them did in taking a stand on the Epstein files, because Tavis, let's be real here. This legislation, the Epstein Files Transparency Act, it practically unanimously passed both houses of Congress. And I'm wondering what would happen if we could garner that kind of political will for our community. What would happen if Republicans in Congress decided to stand up and say, Mr. President, we know you're not going to sign it, but we have a veto-proof majority for the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. We have a veto-proof majority to do away with qualified immunity and the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. So I think about these issues, and it was remarkable to witness her move from politics, or I should say evolve from politics to principle. And I think that's what's badly needed in order for the kinds of meaningful public policy changes to come about that we so need today.
You've said a lot there that's worth unpacking. Let me start here, and we'll work our way through it. Glad I got you for the hour. I hear your refrain. It's a good one, politics to principle. And yet that principle, to my mind, is not disconnected from Marjorie Taylor Greene being bullied by the President of the United States. So what you refer to as her courage standing up to Donald Trump, I concede that. I don't disagree with that. She did have the courage to stand up to the President. But Trump, reinforces himself as bully in this situation. And that's what makes her ultimately decide to run away by her own admission. These death threats she's getting, and Donald Trump calling her names, and this MAGA base being infuriated, part of that MAGA base at least, being infuriated with her. And that's a tricky thing, too, because it's that same MAGA base that pressed Trump to get the files released. So that's tricky terrain.
That's right.
That is that the pullout is never disconnected from the pushback. So she pulls out because she's experiencing some pushback. And on a certain level, I don't know that I'm ready yet to put that in the courage category. You got bullied and you ran away, so it could be, two sides of the same coin. On one side of the coin is courage. On the other side of the coin, you're scared. And I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't be scared of a president intimidating you and people, threatening your life. You see my point, though. I'm still, with all due respect to Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm still not quite ready to go as far as you have gone. Am I wrong for that? You're the philosopher here.
Well, no, you're not wrong for that. And I don't know it's fair to say that I have gone that far.
Right.
I was simply articulating my initial reaction to it and how I'm trying to process it.
That's fair.
Deep down inside, you're right. For me, politicians tend not to do anything unless it's in their best interest.
That's right.
And the reality of Washington is everything is not what it seems to be. So I'm not ready to. The cynical side of me is not, or I should say, the side of me that's more acquainted with the reality of American politics. I'm not prepared to completely absolve Marjorie Taylor Greene of all of the different things that she said and done that have been harmful.
Yeah.
But I at the same time, I do think, as you said, there's the bullying never stops with President Trump, right? Yeah. And I think I can't help but think that maybe she is backing out in the short term for something in the long term. Maybe she thinks that if she leaves and comes back after Trump is out of office and she tries to run for Congress again, or run for senator from Georgia, or run for governor of Georgia, or whatever it is, that she'll have a place in the MAGA base because she took a stance on the Epstein files. Right?
Yeah.
So perhaps it's the case that the stance that she took is not a stand, is not one of unabashed principle, but it's one of a political calculation that's looking forward to how she can connect with the base that she was once so much a part of. So I think that's a real possibility. So I'm just sort of, in response to your initial question, I was sort of describing my reaction to it and how I'm sort of dealing with it myself. But again, your point is well taken, because politicians never do anything unless it's in their best interest.
Yep. I'm seeing messages coming in from all kind of people. We'll get to a couple of those, maybe read a couple of those, and let Tim respond to that. No naivete here, but since we both went there, what does Marjorie Taylor Greene being run off say once again about the bullying tactics of Donald Trump? That you have forced one of the most well-known, I mean, if not highly regarded, but certainly well-known members of Congress. And she made a name for herself in short order. Now, I'm not naive here. Speaking of naive, I'm not naive here. She made a name for herself because she's been engaged in such ugly tactics, in such ugly and visceral and divisive rhetoric that can put you out there in the media.
Right. I think what this says is that at the end of the day, no matter what you say about Donald Trump, it is his party. It is his Republican Party. And the power that he wields is sufficient to get someone like a Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was very popular with the MAGA base, out of office without having to run someone against her in the primary. So the message of Trump flexing his political muscle is loud and clear.
Yep. The other thing I thought about, maybe it's just me, but I mentioned earlier when I heard her announcement, my mind went to Liz Cheney as another white woman who was bullied by that Trump MAGA base. So just stay with me here for a second. Let's assume that what we're experiencing and witnessing right now with Marjorie Taylor Greene is a certain level of courage and conviction and commitment and character. Let's just generously, charitably give her that. The same could be said of Liz Cheney, that she took a stand. And Liz Cheney was so respected and so regarded that Kamala Harris spent more time campaigning with Liz Cheney than she did with Tim Walz. That's another conversation for another time. And I think it didn't work. I think it was a bad strategy. That's another issue. But the point is, here you have these two white women who, for whatever reason, have either seen the light or felt the heat, but they woke up. And I think those are the two things, those are the two conditions that generally get the attention of folk who are lost in the wilderness. Either you feel the heat, or either you see the light, rather, or you feel the heat, sometimes both. So I don't know what it is for Marjorie Taylor Greene or Liz Cheney with regard to heat or light. I do know that there's evidence now that both of them at some point woke up from their slumber, from their sleepwalking, and were able to tell some bit of the truth. That critique that Marjorie Taylor Greene just had of the two-party system, that could have been Cornel West talking. But that critique she laid out a moment ago, we'll talk to Dr. West at the top of the second hour. That could have been Cornel West laying out that particular critique. My point is that, can you imagine if more white women, you see where I'm going here, right? If more white women were like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Liz Cheney and woke up and saw the light, or woke up because they felt the heat. Donald Trump is not president if it's not for white women. We all know they did not show up for Kamala Harris. And let me be the first to say, as this audience already knows, Kamala was an imperfect candidate, nowhere near a perfect candidate for those of us who are truly progressive. Now, set that aside. But they did not show up for Kamala Harris. Instead, they chose Donald Trump. I'm just thinking over the weekend when I saw this comment, her announcement, if more white women could wake up like Cheney and Taylor Greene, and if they'd woken up sooner, we might not be where we are right now. I digress. Take the microphone.
Well, I think that when you compare Liz Cheney and Marjorie Taylor Greene, I can say with some confidence that Liz Cheney is much closer to a profile in courage than Marjorie Taylor Greene.
We agree.
Right?
We agree. We agree.
Liz Cheney took the extremely unpopular position that the president was leading right in the primary, right? So there was no backing away from her. So she is much more close. She is much closer to getting to a profile and courage than Marjorie Taylor Greene. What I'll also say is that you're right. If there were more white women who had the courage of a Liz Cheney and who were really determined to stand on principle, then I think you would see a lot more bipartisanship in Congress, and you would see a lot more things get accomplished. You would see a lot more veto-proof majorities in Congress that would enable the Congress to do what it can't do now, because so many members of the Republican Party have a sycophantic disposition toward the president and just do whatever the president says, and that's how you have it there. But no, I think the exit polling from Georgia last year, I think, said that over 70% of white women in Georgia voted for Donald Trump. And this was after many white women were, and I suspect in the other battlegrounds, the other 6 battleground states, there was a similar dynamic. After so many public appearances in which white women appeared to be supporting Kamala Harris, when the rubber met the road, they went into the voting booth and they cast their vote for the person who they thought was going to best protect their interests as white people, and that was Donald Trump.
Yeah. One other thing about Marjorie Taylor Greene, let me just tee this up now to get at my clock. Let me tee it up, and we'll talk about it when we come forward, Tim. So I'm glad I've got you for the hour. There is another way to read this, it seems to me. One way to read it is, as you and I have been discussing, that Donald Trump is the bully in chief, and he bullied Marjorie Taylor Greene out of Congress, and that Donald Trump is still, the 800-pound gorilla, as it were, that he's always been. That's one way to read it. We've discussed that. When we come forward, the flip side of that is that Donald Trump's in trouble. That what Marjorie Taylor Greene is illustrating for us is that at MAGA base is shifting on him. Shifting, if not sinking. Shifting, if not abandoning him. So there is another way to read this, that people are getting emboldened, that they're standing up and saying, you know what, I will leave Congress. They stand up and say, I will stand down. I will leave Congress rather than stay here and deal with this fool any longer, and maybe I'll come back at a later point in time. So it's not that the only way to read it is that Donald Trump is all that and then some. It could very well be this is just another sign that Donald Trump is standing in some sinking sand. I digress for now. We'll let Tim Golden unpack that and a great deal more when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis Smiley.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Minnesota's Somali community is on edge after President Trump ended deportation protections, terminating temporary protected status effective immediately. Homeland Secretary Kristi Noem spoke to the press about left a 14-year-old dead and 8 teens injured near downtown Christmas events. Trump called the city a mess and said crime needs federal action. And Erykah Badu is set to live stream her Mama's Gun 25th anniversary show from the King's Theater in New York on December 6th. The concert streams via Veeps at 9 p.m. Eastern, and access is free for subscribers. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The future of dentistry is here. Sprint Ray's 3D printing tech delivers crowns, veneers, and more. Same day. No temps, no waiting. One visit. Real results. Ask your dentist about Sprint Ray or visit 3ddentistsofla.com and upgrade your smile today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Rams have the best record in the NFC after dominating Tampa Bay Sunday night 34-7. The sixth straight win for the Rams puts them at 9-2, a game ahead of Philadelphia, which lost Sunday at Dallas. This is the first time the Rams are number one in the NFC since Week 13 in the 2018 season. The Chargers had a bye yesterday. In his first NFL start, Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders led the Browns to a 24-10 win over the Raiders in Las Vegas. Sanders completed 11 of 20 passes for 209 yards and 1 touchdown. After the game, Cleveland head coach Kevin Stefanski declined to say if Sanders will remain his number one quarterback. The Lakers are 12-4 after holding on for a 108-106 win Sunday at Utah. 33 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists for Luka Doncic. LeBron has 17 points and 8 assists in 34 minutes. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33 and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yay! Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Tim Golden. It's the Tim and Tavis show for the rest of this hour. I'm seeing all kind of comments. I just read one right quick, Tim. Without more, Tavis, some kind of objective evidence, way too generous an interpretation, possibly bordering on naive. That's not cynicism. Too much a turnaround too soon. I'd like to be proven wrong. I like that last part, Tim. Too much a turnaround too soon, although I'd like to be proven wrong.
Sure. I think so, too. I mean, I was describing my sort of visceral initial reaction to what was happening, my interpretation of what was happening with her. But I think upon reflection, the reality is that the person who made that comment is right. When you see this kind of shift so quickly without some sense of contrition, right, for all of the other outlandish things that she said and done, moving beyond the visceral, I think it's at best, I mean, I think it's really pragmatic and not naive to suggest that perhaps she has a long-term agenda that she's trying to facilitate with this short-term move. So I don't disagree with the comment. I was describing a sort of visceral response to what she was going through. And as you pointed out, when you juxtapose her to Lynn Cheney, the contrast becomes even clearer, right? Liz Cheney was someone who actually did stand on principle
And the first way to read it is that obviously Donald Trump bullied her out of Congress, and that read I don't think is incorrect. On the other hand, it does also, I think, point us in a different direction of consideration that Donald Trump's MAGA base is shifting on him. That some people in that base are finding the courage to stand up to him. The Epstein files is one example of that. Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, "I'm going to leave rather than be bullied by you, or have you calling me names every day. I'm just going to stand down, but I'm standing down on my principle." Republicans in the Senate did not give him the filibuster that he wanted. I mean, this list is starting to get longer and longer of things I can point to that base is starting to get soft on him. If not shift, they're certainly getting softer. It's hard to argue against that. How do you read that, Tim Golden?
Well, I don't think I think you're correct, and I don't think we can have a discussion about this issue without discussing Trump's meeting with Zohran Mamdani last week. I think the political emergence of Zohran Mamdani in New York City as mayor-elect, arising to political prominence on a populist message or economic populist message of affordability is part, whether Trump wants to admit it or not. He could gaslight us all he wants to, but the reality is that was his populist message last year during the presidential campaign. And I think when Donald Trump saw that Zohran Mamdani was making the same appeals that he was making, and that Trump's old political tactics of endorsing someone from the old guard like Cuomo in hopes that it would lead to a victory against Mamdani, I think in the end, Trump is looking at his MAGA base and he sees the commonality between the positions that he took in the election last year and the people who are Mamdani supporters on the issue of affordability. And let's not forget this, Tavis. The Epstein files were not the only issue that Marjorie Taylor Greene leveled upon Trump. She critiqued him for not doing anything about issues of affordability. And she talked consistently about people in her district still not being able to afford groceries and everyday necessities and things of that nature. So I think there is a rift, a schism in the MAGA base, and especially now, right? Because the racist attacks against Mamdani, against him, not being anti-American and that sort of thing, all of that stuff is going to have to recede in light of Donald Trump's glowing remarks about him after Friday's conversation in the Oval Office.
Yeah.
When what's important to remember is, again, I'm not naive enough to think that Donald Trump genuinely all of a sudden cares about Zoran Mamdani, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, what he is he's reading the tea leaves, and he can see the handwriting on the wall that if he doesn't get his act together on the economy or in domestic policy, which was another critique of Marjorie Taylor Greene's, right?
Yeah.
She said, you're doing foreign policy, but you're not doing domestic policy. I think Trump sees that fissure in his base, and I don't know that he's trying to necessarily shore it up, because I don't know if he can. It'll be interesting to see how many people in the MAGA base turn against him now because of his embrace of Mamdani.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be something to watch. But rest assured, Donald Trump doesn't do anything politically unless it benefits Donald Trump.
No.
And I think he saw some benefit to an embrace of Zoran Mamdani. And I think it could have something to do with this message of affordability and his extremely low approval rating, especially on the economy.
So I have taken to thinking of the White House more as the bouncy house than the White House. It's like those bouncy houses you see at the kids' parties in the front lawn of the house. Yeah, so it's like a bouncy house because this sucker bounces all over the place on any given day. I'm thinking right now of the story that we're all following about Ukraine. He's given Ukraine until Thanksgiving Day to accept his peace plan, which is a death knell for Ukraine. You look at the particulars in that peace plan. It makes no sense for Zelensky to sign off on this thing. I heard him say somewhere, our choices are, I'm paraphrasing here, our choices are to lose our integrity or our relationship with the U.S. And those are tough situations. It's a tough spot to be in. But Trump has, my point is this, he's bounced around. He's flip-flopped on this Ukraine thing more times than you and I can count. One day he's with Russia, one day he's with Ukraine. Next day he's back with Russia, next day he's back with Ukraine. It's like a bouncy house. You don't know where he's going to land, right? So I raise that only because I was like you watching this meeting with Mamdani since you went there on last week, on Thursday, Friday, whatever day it was. And I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, Donald Trump, to your point, knows how to play this game. And it's left a whole lot of people in this MAGA base trying to figure, they're scratching their head trying to figure out what do we make of this. So all I'm saying is that Donald Trump was especially nice to Mamdani in that meeting. But the backlash, the whiplash, the slapback is coming. You and I both believe that, do we not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, Donald, if we know one thing about Donald Trump, him being involved in American political life for the past decade, what we know is that he doesn't do anything if it doesn't benefit him in some way, or at least if he doesn't think it benefits him in some way. So certainly, and I think I think something can be said for on the Mamdani side of this too, which is that I think he understands that you don't govern the same way that you campaign, right? That campaigning and the rough and tumble of New York politics and the things he said about the president are the kind. Now, I think that Mamdani's evolution. I think that Mamdani is really experiencing an evolution, right? I'm much more inclined to give him credit for evolving than I am for Donald Trump, right? So I just wanted to make that clear.
No, I get it. And when we come forward, I want to talk about that because Mamdani's evolving, as you put it, might get And Trump looked at him and grabbed him, tapped him on the shoulder and said, just go ahead and say yes. It's just easier to say yes than to explain. It was funny, but Madami is back to his fascist argument yesterday on Meet the Press.
In that press conference with President Trump, a reporter asked you whether you believe that President Trump is in fact a fascist, a word that you've used in the past. You were about to answer, then President Trump sort of jumped in and he said, quote, "That's okay, you can just say yes. It's easier than explaining it." So, Mr. Mayor-elect, just to be very clear, do you think that President Trump is a fascist?
And after President Trump said that, I said yes. And
so you do?
And that's something that I've said in the past. I say it today. And I think what I appreciated about the conversation that I had with the president was that we were not shy about the places of disagreement, about the politics that has brought us to this moment. And we also wanted to focus on what it could look like to deliver on a shared analysis of an affordability crisis for New Yorkers.
You've also said in the past that President Trump has engaged in a, quote, attack on our democracy. You've called him a despot. Do you still believe President Trump is a threat to the democracy?
Everything that I've said in the past, I continue to believe. And that's the thing that I think is important in our politics, is that we don't shy away from where we have disagreements, but we understand what it is that brings us to that table. Because I'm not coming into the Oval Office to make a point or make a stand. I'm coming in there to deliver for New Yorkers. And a few weeks ago, I was asked by a reporter 3 words to describe myself. I said, New York City. And that's what animated that conversation. How do we deliver for the people of New York City?
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. We want to speak directly to our listeners in Altadena and all across Southern California. Recently, we invited Southern California Edison to join a town hall so fire survivors could ask questions and get clear information about the Altadena Eaton fire and this so-called settlement fund. Weeks before the event, the law firm originally connected to the program withdrew, and we provided SCE updated materials confirming those changes. But despite that, SCE later stated publicly and privately that they were pulling out of the town hall because plaintiffs' attorneys were participating. That was not accurate, and SCE knew that it was not accurate. But when shown documentation that disproved their claim, SCE ignored it and declined to correct the record. At KBLA Talk 1580, trust is not an option. It is the foundation of our work and witness. It is the promise that we make to you. And so we will not move forward with any partnership that misrepresents the facts or undermines the credibility that we have built in love and service to this beloved community. Our commitment remains with the good people of Altadena. We will continue providing independent, verified information to support your recovery without interference from any outside entity, including Southern California Edison, so you don't get burned twice. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, as always, we welcome your feedback.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Made fresh daily in the Mert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Breaking news here. Breaking news. A judge, we warned this is going to happen. A judge has dismissed the cases against James Comey and Letitia James after finding that the prosecutor was unlawfully appointed. The case dismissed without prejudice, meaning they can be refiled at a later date, but they've been dismissed at the moment. This news just broke. I haven't had a chance to even read it yet, Tim. Again, you're the philosopher and the lawyer. We were talking a few days ago on this program that we thought these cases might be dismissed, specifically the one against James Comey, because the grand jury never saw the final indictment before James Comey was indicted. Talk about gangster, back to Dr. West's words for how Trump moves. That's a gangster move when you indict somebody in a grand jury indictment, but the grand jury didn't see the indictment that they were indicted with. I mean, that's gangster,
That's
man.
right.
But yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
The real gangsterism of Trump is seen in his command on social media that Pam Bondi prosecute James Comey, and then the response from Pam Bondi saying, "Yes, sir," and then the next day he's indicted.
That's right.
That's the real gangsterism of Trump.
Yeah.
is found in that sort of open public request that completely disregards law altogether. See, Tavis, I have to say this because I think it's too often overlooked. It is not surprising the legal moves that Donald Trump makes that so flout the rule of law are not surprising to me, because I think any responsible conversation about Trump and the law must begin with the observation that he himself is a 34 times convicted felon. Right? If we begin there, then everything that he does makes sense, right? But when we try to abstract the rule of law away from the concrete realities of the situation, we don't really get the full picture. But if we begin with the proposition, and it's a factual proposition, right? This is not hyperbole. This is not exaggeration. This is reality. Rights as any other criminal defendant. And so I'm not surprised that someone that has such little regard for law would ultimately request that his political enemies be prosecuted and end up with a dismissal of this indictment. So I'm not surprised. It'll be curious. I'm curious to see what happens after this if the charges are refiled. That's, I think, the next chapter in this story.
Yeah, well, part of the problem is when you get somebody who has as much experience as I do in prosecuting federal cases, you end up in this kind of hot water, right? They don't know what they're doing. But in case you just tuned in, a judge has dismissed the cases against James Comey, former FBI director, and Tish James in New York State, AG there, finding that the prosecutor was unlawfully appointed to begin with. So that's not the reason or the rationale that I thought these cases were going to be dismissed. But, as we sang in my little Pentecostal church, anyway you bless me, Lord, I'll be satisfied. The cases have been dismissed without prejudice, which again means they can be refiled at a later date. We shall see. Our remaining moments with Tim Golden when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good. Yeah, man. Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Where was that information yesterday?
All you have to do is download the app, see if you qualify. $750. Boom.
You think I should call her back?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
All right.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Get ahead with Current. Text ACTION to 323232 to sign up today. That's ACTION to 323232. ACTION to 323232. ACTION to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by Fineco Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Tim Golden. That about does it for the Tim and Tavis show. I got to push it. Dr. Cornell West here in about 3 minutes. Tim, say hello, Dr. Cornell West. He's in studio now.
Dr. West, how are you, good sir? I've always admired your work, and you inspired me as a younger black philosopher because of your philosophical brilliance to pursue a career in academic philosophy. It's an honor to speak to you, Dr. West.
My brother, the blessing and the honor is mine to be on the same show as you are, though, man. And I just love your insights, love your work. Love your witness, love your courage, man. And now you up in Jimi Hendrix Town in Seattle?
So I live in. I'm a visiting professor of philosophy at Whitman College, which is in Walla Walla, Washington. So I'm about 4 hours from Seattle. Wow. Yeah.
Good God Almighty.
Yeah.
And you spend a little time in Philly at Temple, though, right?
Born and raised in Philadelphia. In Philadelphia. My father was a jazz musician, so I'm acquainted with the existential dimensions of jazz and the blues. I attended graduate school for philosophy at the University of Memphis in Memphis, Tennessee, and so. As I said, my interest in philosophy goes back to my days as an undergraduate when I got my hands on your book, Prophecy Deliverance.
My God.
And I began to read it. I didn't think black people did philosophy. And so seeing you made philosophy possible for me. And I've always admired your sense of morality, the depth and profundity of your moral voice in a world that has, as they say, in Memphis, show enough gone crazy.
Gone crazy. I salute you, though, brother. You keeping the great legacy alive of all of us trying to tell the truth and bear witness, my brother.
Tim, I thank you for your insights in this hour today. We'll do it again. When I push it, Dr. West here in just a minute or so, Tim used one word to describe Mondami, evolve. I want to ask Dr. West whether he sees it as evolve or devolve. So stay tuned for Cornell West. I ain't got to Donald Trump boycotting the G20 in South Africa because he's protesting the genocide of the white minority. We haven't gotten to the death of H. Rod Brown. A lot to cover. Dr. Cornell West in hour 2. Tim Golden, I thank you. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Status effective immediately. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem spoke to the press about the move.
There is a timeline as set under statute that every single country's TPS program gets evaluated on.
While most Somali refugees are U.S. citizens, TPS holders fear being sent back to a country plagued by al-Shabaab violence. President Trump is calling for federal intervention in Chicago after 2 shootings Friday night left a 14-year-old dead and 8 teens injured near downtown Christmas events. Trump called the city a mess and said crime needs federal action. And Erykah Badu is set to live stream her Mama's Gun 25th anniversary show from the King's Theater in New York on December 6th. The concert streams via Veeps at 9 p.m. Eastern, and access is free for subscribers. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The future of dentistry is here. Sprint Ray's 3D printing tech delivers crowns, veneers, and more same day. No temps, no waiting. One visit. Real results. Ask your dentist about Sprint Ray or visit 3ddentistsofla.com and upgrade your smile today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Rams have the best record in the NFC after dominating Tampa Bay Sunday night 34-7. The 6th straight win for the Rams puts them at 9-2, a game ahead of Philadelphia, which lost Sunday at Dallas. This is the first time the Rams are number 1 in the NFC since Week 13 in the 2018 season. The Chargers had a bye yesterday. In his first NFL start, Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders led the Browns to a 24-10 win over the Raiders in Las Vegas. Sanders completed 11 of 20 passes for 209 yards and 1 touchdown. After the game, Cleveland head coach Kevin Stefanski declined to say if Sanders will remain his number 1 quarterback. The Lakers are 12-4 after holding on for a 108-106 win Sunday at Utah. 33 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists for Luka Doncic. LeBron had 17 points and 8 assists in 34 minutes. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need.